If you're a stay-at-home parent looking to become an online teacher in order to earn some extra cash for your family, here's 5 things you should know first. Hey there, I'm Allyson from OnlineTeacherAllyson.com, where stay-at-home moms and dads learn how to teach online so they can earn an income from home. And if you are interested in getting started, I have a few free resources for you. My first one will help match you to a platform. Depending on some of the things I'm going to talk about today, you can grab yours at OnlineTeacherAllyson.com/platform. And I am also working on creating a free challenge for you to help you set up your online teaching profile, whether you've been hired or not, just so that when the time comes, you're ready to go. I was working on it yesterday. I'm really excited about it. You can get your spot on the wait list to be notified when it goes live at OnlineTeacherAllyson.com/challenge. All right, so if you're thinking about becoming an online teacher, you might feel like you are jumping into the deep end, especially if you don't have any experience with teaching, any experience with kids outside of raising your own. And I want you to know that those are really common feelings, and that doesn't mean you can't be a great rock star online teacher, okay? But the first thing you need to know is that earning what you probably want to earn is going to take time. First, it's going to take time to get hired. Not everyone is hiring all day, every day. It really depends on the platform. For example, VIP Kid, back in the day, they were always hiring. But there's other platforms that really take into consideration the student demand to the teacher supply. And those actually end up, being patient to get on that ends up being worth it because you're more likely to get classes. So then, once you get hired, it takes time to build up those classes. When I got hired on VIP Kid, I had a smattering of classes right away. So they featured you for 2 weeks, and I had a class here, a class there. I had about one a day for those 2 weeks. And I did not do so great during those 2 weeks because I was canceling classes because it was the holidays and we were traveling, and I didn't set up my schedule right, and I didn't know better. And so when my 2 weeks was up, I heard crickets for quite a while. So it took me a good month or 2 of being consistent with my classes, with getting online, even though I didn't have classes, to build up a clientele that came back to me week after week after week. So that by the time I had been teaching with them for almost 2 years when they shut down, they didn't really, it's a long story there, that I was basically fully booked. The classes I opened, booked. I would call it 90 to 100%. There were the occasional open spots, but I was pretty happy with where I was. So if teaching online is something you want to do, make sure you give yourself time, 1, to get hired somewhere, and 2, to build up your clientele. Okay? I promise you it can be done. And the third thing that takes a little bit of time, if you're picky like me, is finding a platform that you really love. So when I got started teaching online, I was with VIP Kid, and I was with GoGo Kid, and I was with Cambly. VIP Kid and Cambly are still operational today. GoGo Kid is not because of Chinese laws and mandates and stuff. They just shut their doors. But why I primarily opened spots on VIP Kid because that was the curriculum and the platform I really enjoyed. I liked VIP Kid's curriculum because I felt like it filled the time the best. I didn't like Cambly's or GoGo Kids as much because I felt like there was so much repetition where when I had those kids that they already knew it or they picked it up quick, it was boring and I was just extending, and I didn't feel like I should have to do that for every single lesson. I felt like that should have been built into the curriculum. If your student's really good at this, then go here. Or if your student needs more practice, then go here. GoGo Kid was really great for if they needed more practice. Cambly is too. What I don't like about Cambly, I'm still active there. Well, I mean, I could be if I wanted to. But what I don't like about them is that they're not very conversationally based. So we focus on the vocabulary word very heavily. It's like slide after slide after slide after slide of just ways of practicing the vocabulary word in isolation. And while it's great to learn vocabulary and you need it, it's also really important to practice using it in complete sentences, because that's how we're going to speak, right? I'm not just going to point and say vocab words. I'm not going to say yellow. Like, if I want a yellow pencil, I need to know how to say yellow pencil. This is a yellow pencil. I need to know that this is a. So that was something I really tried to bring in on my own. But even still, like, I felt like it needed another vocab word to practice. And so then I'd have to prepare another vocab word to bring with me. And it was more work than I wanted to do for the pay that they give, if that makes any sense. The second thing you need to know about online teaching is you don't necessarily need to have a degree. 100% you don't need one in education. But some platforms do require a degree, whether it be in anything or specifically education. And that really depends on what that platform focuses on. So for example, a VIP Kid requires a degree in anything. Cambly does not require a degree at all. So if you don't have a degree, you'd be looking for a platform like Cambly where they don't require a degree. And I do take that in mind in my flow chart I mentioned earlier at onlineteacherallyson.com/platform. So if you don't have a degree, there are options for you still. It's just they tend to not pay as much. So you have to be realistic with your expectations there. So VIP Kid did require a degree. It could be in anything. But where I'm teaching now is I push into elementary schools virtually, and we do math small group tutoring. They not only required an education degree, but they required actual time in the classroom. And so depending on what you do, like there's some reading tutoring platforms that do the same thing. They want you to have the education degree and they want you to have the experience, mostly because they're in America. So when you're working with American students, they want you to have more of the formality with the degree. But when I was teaching with VIP Kid and GoGo Kid, Cambly is more worldwide. VIP Kid and GoGo Kid were based out of students in China. And so their requirements were a little more lenient. I don't remember if you needed a degree for GoGo Kid, but they're closed down, it doesn't even matter. But Cambly is very much more worldwide. I have a lot of students from the Middle East when I teach with them. So you don't necessarily need a degree. You're just going to have to find the platforms that don't require it. And you're going to have to understand that the pay usually reflects it. I know, sorry. The third thing you need to know is that it does not take a ton of money to get started. And I want you to keep it simple. So you don't need a new computer. You don't need like this standalone office space. You don't need all of the props. You don't need this, that, and the other. What you need is a computer that can handle like a busy Zoom meeting. So, you know, back in 2020 when we were all on Zoom for all of these things and you got those big crowded ones, if your computer had trouble handling that, then it's probably going to have trouble handling the online teaching platform. So when I first got started, I had this cheapo computer. Like we bought as cheap as it was a couple years old at that point, and we just bought a cheap computer because, you know, I was just surfing the internet on it. I wasn't doing anything crazy. That was, when did we buy it? Like 2016, 2017? Like, and I got started in 2019. So it was a couple years old, and what I bought it for was no longer what I was using it for. So when I was teaching these classes, my computer could not keep up. My video was laggy. The videos on the lesson were laggy. The slides were laggy to load. And it showed there was feedback I was given that the parent actually thought it was on the company's end, but it was on my end. So I did actually go out and invest in a MacBook that could keep up. But if you have a computer that can keep up with that stuff, you don't even need a new computer. The only thing I recommend you buying, if you don't already have it, is a set of headphones. And most people have it. You can use gaming headphones. AirPods will usually work. I like these because they're noise canceling and they have the mic here. It just, to me, looks a little more professional. VIP Kid, some parents were iffy about like the AirPods and stuff. I never like heard personally of teachers having issues with the AirPods like in the Facebook spaces, but this just to me tells me it's time to work, and AirPods hurt my ears after a while. So this wasn't expensive. I feel like this is like 30, 40 bucks now with inflation. So you don't need everything. As for the background, I don't even have to have this because behind it is my neutral colored wall. It's that color. It's gray. Agreeable gray. Everyone has agreeable gray, right? So if you wanted to leave it at that, you could. If you had a nice like bookshelf or a nice organized desk area behind you, you could do that too. If you wanted to go a little extra and be cute, by all means do it. This is cheapo stuff, okay? This is wrapping paper. This I got at the dollar spot in Target several years ago. If you shop over the summer, like July-ish time frame, they have a lot of back to school stuff. Dollar spot in Target, dollar spot in Target, freebie download from Teachers Pay Teachers. So all in all, this was 20 bucks. Like I didn't spend a lot of money on my background, and I am still using it. How many years later? I also have a background when I am at my family's house. It's a like photography backdrop. It's just like a watercolor map. So if you find a cute photography backdrop, make sure you get one that, you know, covers your screen enough. But those are usually relatively cheap as well. So you don't even need to go out and buy anything for your background. Keep it simple. As for your camera, I did eventually upgrade that. I am using a Logitech HD 1080p, but I started out with the built-in in my Mac. So you don't need to do anything extra, especially when you're not earning any money yet, or you're not earning like the money that you want to earn, right? Take the money that you're earning and put it towards the bills that you are trying to pay off, or put it towards the vacation that you're trying to buy, or put it in college funds or savings bonds or something, if that's what you want to do with the little piddly money you're making in the beginning before you really get going. Keep it simple, okay? Don't go crazy buying the props. I rated my son's toys. I still do. Like, if I don't have a prop, I don't usually sweat it, all right? All right, the fourth thing you need to know before you become an online teacher is that it's not an MLM. Oh, there's a big misconception. A lot of people think it is because we have referrals, right? So I have referral links for VIP Kid, Cambly, and OutSchool. And if you want to teach on those, you could click on my referral link and I would coach you through the hiring process. What I would get out of that is a bonus. What I would get out of that is a bonus. So with VIP Kid, when I coached you through the process, after you taught your first class, I would get a $100 bonus. That was it. I'm not going to get a bonus for every single class you teach for the rest of your VIP Kid career. It's just that one-time bonus. With OutSchool, you had to make $100 or $200, and then I would get a bonus. And with Cambly, I don't even know. I don't think anyone uses my Cambly link, but it's there if you want it. It's all linked down below. So it's not an MLM. I get a one-time bonus, if anything. So there's other companies I talk about where I am not a referring teacher because I'm not on the platform. Usually I can't be on all of them, but I want you to know about them. So I still talk about them. I just don't get the referral bonus. So we're not an MLM. I don't get any money for the classes you teach. It doesn't trickle down. Like once you're in, you're in. Your money is yours, okay? Like it's not an MLM. It's a big misconception, but it's not, because I know MLM is like a dirty word. Like no one wants to talk about it. So not an MLM, okay? And the very last thing you should know, number 5, this is kind of a hard pill to swallow, but not everybody's going to like you. So when you start getting your students, when you start getting classes rolling in, you're going to see a lot of one-off students. There's a lot of reasons for that. Maybe their normal teacher was out that week, so they thought they'd try you. Maybe they're brand new to the class, brand new to the platform, so they're trying multiple teachers to try to find their best fit. Maybe someone else booked their class for you. VIP Kid had learning partners, so it was like the family. Then they had these learning partners that would like schedule the families with their classes pretty often. The parents could do it, but the learning partners did it a lot. And maybe the learning partner scheduled them, or maybe you start out as a good fit, and then as they progress, it's just not your strong suit anymore. And so you have to understand that not everyone is going to like you, and it is a tough pill to swallow, especially when you're getting started and you want to hold on to every single kid you get, right? You want to keep the money flowing, but you will find your students. They will find you because you're going to have a kick butt profile, which I help you make in that challenge that I mentioned earlier. And you're going to do a kick butt job in your classes. You're going to bring it your all, and you're going to understand that you've done what you can. So what I really love about online teaching is that we have the opportunity to find the students that mesh with us. The students have the opportunity to find the teacher that they mesh with. If you think about the American classroom, there's like 30 students in a classroom. Am I going to mesh with every single student personality-wise? No. But if I was a teacher, it was my job to figure out how to mesh with them, right? I still had to build a relationship with them because I had them the rest of the year. There was no way they were going somewhere else. They very rarely moved classes. So what's beautiful about online teaching is you don't have to work with students you don't like. Students didn't have to work with teachers they didn't like. And it's just makes for a better learning environment. And it does take time, like I said, to find those students that you mesh very well together. But it does happen, and it's a great thing when it does. So 5 things you need to know, okay? It takes time. You don't need a degree. Keep your setup simple. We're not an MLM, and not everybody's going to like you. But those that do like you are going to love you. They're going to keep coming back, and they're going to tell their friends about you. And you're going to find out that little Johnny told little Sally about you, and that's why you now have little Sally on your schedule too. So be patient, be consistent, reach out if you need me. I'm here to help you, and I can't wait to see you around and see you kicking butt, earning some money, and meeting those goals. Let's chat soon. Bye.